feel that way if I were here or not. And I just didn't want to deprive him of that chance. I know he was worthy of a scholarship, having watched him play all these years and having heard other Pac-10 coaches tell me that if I'm not taking him, they are. So I'm not concerned about the appearance of it. I'm going to wait and let him compete, and the likelihood is that Jerry will gracier. He will not begin in the fall. He'll begin in the winter, which will give Brett the entire freshman repetitions that are available, and then Jerry will have a chance to join the squad at that time, to give him a little bit more chance to develop physically. He's about 185 pounds right now, and hopefully he can continue to gain weight. He's at 6'2", so I believe that great things are in store for him. I know what he knows about the game, and I believe he'll find a way to make a great contribution to our program. Will Oliver, an exciting guy. You know, every now and then recruiting, you find somebody late, and normally the case is that finding people late, it's a little too late. This was a guy who was committed to a smaller school and just basically was not on the beaten path. Angus McClure, who was on the road as coaches had come and gone. I needed an extra guy on the road, so Angus was going up there and just kind of doing some work to prepare for next year's recruiting class, and it happened on Heritage High School in this little town of Brentwood, California up there, and happened upon into the weight room on this 6'8", 290-pound young man that looks exactly like the guys getting off the planes in the NFL look like. And lo and behold, in analyzing the tape, the guy can bend, he can do all the things that you're looking for. Has he played? Has he a lot of football? The answer is no. Has he developed into the kind of player that he will eventually be? The answer is not yet. But I think this guy is going to be an absolute gem, and it's going to be an often told story as to how we found him by the time he's done here. I'm anxious to show you some video, or if we have you check out his highlights and see how flexible and gifted an athlete he is. It's exciting to have Will part of this. Mike Orloff. Mike is from Massachusetts. You all remember Irv Eatman, former teammate of mine. Irv from Dayton, Ohio, and I came in 1979 as freshmen together. And Irv called me and said, I got this kid that I go up and help one of my buddies up in Massachusetts coach a team every year. And there's this kid on this team you got to see. And I said, thanks, Irv. And I put the tape into a place where I'd get to it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to it. And Irv called and reminded me, and I looked at the tape again, and or I got to the tape, and I saw this free safety quarterback that was coming downhill and knocking the heck out of everybody. Great physical presence on defense, and then a gifted guy on offense. And then came to find out that the guy was just a few points short of a perfect SAT, and was very interested in coming out and seeing UCLA. And so we got him here in the last weekend. He and his mom Sharon, and they had a wonderful weekend. Thank goodness the weather was as we had hoped, and the weather in Massachusetts was as we hoped. And it worked out perfectly, and he was able to say his goodbyes to his previous school that he was committed to, and we're excited about Mike Orloff. I think he's going to be a great student athlete here, one that you're all going to know about. Sam Ty, defensive end from Las Vegas, already in school, off to a great start, great young man, great family. You know, Clark Lee went over to watch him play in the fall, and we were watching, actually went to watch a couple of other guys over there, and but he took in a little of this kid's game and said there was no question as to who was the best player on the field, who had the most tenacity, who had the grit to be a big-time competitive guy. And Sam had been to our camp, and we liked him. Weren't sure exactly how big he would get. He certainly has grown since the time he was here in the summertime. We saw that in the game in Las Vegas, and are thrilled that Sam's here. He's going to be a terrific edge presence for us on defense. Brandon Tuliaupupu from Claremont. You know, as I said at the outset, we got a couple of great defensive tackles. You know, Kevin McReynolds at one, and this guy at the other. It says 6'1", 296. We actually gave him a physical This last weekend he's growing up to 6'2", and he's 305. So this is a guy that, and he doesn't look like he's got any fat on him. This is a guy that's an explosive player. We needed to have him really show how important school was to him, which is why this was a late recruiting effort, because we needed him to be the kind of student that UCLA looks forward to having. And he worked his tail off and earned his way in here. And I'm just thrilled that he's a part of this class. He's got a great family, as all these guys do, which is one of the important things you look for. And I just think he's going to be a presence as we go forward on our defensive front. Aaron Wallace from Rancho Bernardo down in San Diego, an outside linebacker, also in school. He and Brett and Sam Ty are all in school currently. I think that Aaron is one of those guys that's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. His dad was an 8-year vet in the NFL, dad Aaron Wallace as well, and played for the Raiders. And Aaron Sr. came on a campus tour with us, and just an enormous man, and you can see that Aaron's right on that path. He's already gained 8 pounds, 9 pounds since he's been here, and is working his tail off in the weight room, and I think great things are in store for Aaron. He missed a lot of his senior year because of a foot surgery, which probably kept him from being one of those as the stars rise on different kids. But I think that Aaron Wallace is going to be terrific here at UCLA, and he's off to a great start. Torian White has signed with us today. Certainly there was some indecision at the end of the noon hour, but I think at the end of the day, Torian went with his heart, and we are thrilled that Torian will be here at UCLA. It's a great thing for us. He enjoyed his visit. He had been committed to us for a long time, and I know there were a lot of schools that thought that he was pretty special and worked hard, and you certainly can't fault them for that. But at the end of the day, Torian felt like this was home, and I'm thrilled that that's the case. We're excited about him. He's got great physical tools, and he's also, in my mind, a very special young man and great family, as we've said over and over. So thrilled that Torian White will be a Bruin. Ben Wasaki from Los Al, another youngster we saw in camp last year, offered in camp and committed, and decided that this is what he wanted to do, and stayed with us. As we keep echoing, another great family. Ben has grown and grown and grown. A year ago he was probably 6'4" and 265, 270. He just called me and told me how excited he is and all that stuff, and he's up to 297, 6'5" and 297. So he's got a chance to play inside or outside, which is always a great luxury when you're talking about big men. But Waisaki's going to be a great Bruin. And then Ryan Hoffmeister, who has already signed his letter as a junior college player from Riverside. Darren Chiaverini, who played for me at Colorado and then was a intern here 2 seasons ago, is coaching out there at Riverside. He let us know that this guy made every play on the field and was a great student, a qualifier out of Vista Murrieta. And this is a guy that we needed to have. We did the due diligence, and Ryan fortunately thought as much of us as we did of him. And so he'll be here in the spring and be part of spring ball, and that's always exciting to have guys in here competing. With all that being said, we're looking forward to these guys getting on that road, that track that leads them here. We're also excited about what's going on in our program in an off-season vein. The guys are working their tails off to get ready to compete in spring ball. It will be a fur-flying spring practice. We'll get started in early April. I know there are a number of coaching things to still finish, and I'm going to be working diligently to do that. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on just make this the day for the recruits, and we'll talk about coaches at another time. But I appreciate you all being here, and happy to answer any questions about this class.